It was a gay revolution, it was gay liberation. Everyone wanted to tell the world that they were gay, and I just jumped on board and went home and said, "Mom, Dad, hi, I'm gay." It was a bit traumatic for me, and at the time, I just jumped off the back of the house and had a little chateau bag. And like the story said, I ran away to a discotheque. Being an individual who came out and have experienced sex at a very young age, like I make a joke of it, but take it with a grain of salt. Sex at least 1,000 times before I became legal. Because you gotta remember, I started sex when I was like 13 years old. Presently, I have no upper teeth, right? And that is because of bad dental hygiene, growing up homeless, growing up on the streets, and drug use. Back when I was 14 and I ran away from home, I do recall why I do not want dentures. Because there was lots of intergenerational mix, but it got both the point of memories of men taking out the dentures and putting it on the dashboard while you got the blowjob in the car. And I used to cringe. When you're a 14-year-old working the street, thinking you're pulling a trick, there's a power imbalance. Where you think you're in charge and you're in control, you're not, in my opinion. You're there for the money, and it's up to the other individual. Thank the Lord, but those young was only Polaroid pictures. That's all I have to say on that matter. These days with the internet, oh my God, people bear their all. And then they turn around to regret it. When I was a child, there was only Polaroids. And my mom did find the Polaroid pictures anyhow. You hide them in books, and the only book she decides to pick up just happens to have naked Polaroid pictures of men you're sleeping with. So yeah, they could be found even by mothers back then. Well, back in the 80s, before HIV and AIDS, used to say, oh, you didn't do repeats, right? You did somebody once, you just took it away, and you won't do them again. Because then you'd say, oh, but are you dating? Is that your boyfriend? And you never want to admit something like that. It was all fun, and then all of a sudden, these rumors about HIV sort of ruined everything. I got infected probably around 88. In 93, was when I got tested. And when I got tested with HIV positive, it was a formality. I had full-blown Kaposi sarcoma. I was given less than 3 months to live. That was a very bad time in history for homosexuals as it is, especially people of color as well. When you're West Indian, they ask you if you're Haitian because back then they still thought HIV came from Haitians. Friends said, well, I went to high school with, and one of them just found out he was positive and he rented a room and he committed suicide. My doctor always said, I'm lucky to be alive. If you go back a few decades and people tell you you're going to die, right? And they're doctors and you actually believe them because all your friends are dying, something that generally happens is addiction, right? Because you're going to go with a bang, you've seen all your friends pass away, you ring up your credit cards, you start up drugs. Then what happens when you don't pass away is the fact that you have to learn to live with your addictions. I lived with them for like 20 years almost. I used to do crack, don't do crack anymore. In the past, I never used to go to Pride because I weighed about 104 pounds, had a walker, and had addiction issues. This year, I went to Pride and had a wonderful time. And I actually appreciated being there around healthy people with happy attitudes in a changing world and a changing environment. It made me feel proud.